Hello everyone, so Dave here from Devan Group. We got another explanation video. Guys, this one is a beast. This is our cash flow sheet. So before we do anything, hit pause right now. Go get yourself a cup of tea or a coffee. It's going to be at least 30 minutes, I think. It's a massive sheet. It's super important. It puts all our numbers together, all the numbers that we have from our other sheets. And it provides us a really, really nice overview for cash flow for the following year. So when you guys do, your annual forecast for next year, the orders you want to place, how's your cash flow going to look? This is just a really nice planner. It's a quick overview. It uses averages, and it's allowing us to plan our cash flow. So obviously you still want to get your accountant and you want to use your real numbers at the end of the month, but this is a planner. It's a forecaster. Okay. We try to keep it as simple as possible. So as with all our sheets, fill in the blue ones. Everything else is locked, so don't worry about messing up the formulas. There are a ton of formulas in here. I think we broke Excel with this sheet. Okay, let's walk through it. Okay, I'll try to keep this as fun as possible. It's a big one. So when you open the cash flow sheet, go ahead and start by putting in the year on the top that you guys want to forecast for. And then all you got to do is you got to type in here your product. So you can type in your product name or the SKU number. We'll call it Pro 1. You can put in some COGS. This is what you're paying your supplier, okay? And then you go ahead and you could fill in your forecast. What are you expecting to sell next year? Now, the way Ryan and I do forecasting is we actually, especially for new products, we kind of use our competitors' numbers, and then we try to ballpark, well, if this is how much they're selling, how many do we think we can sell? And then we kind of go in and we update it as we get more information about our actual sales. I think we'll do another video one day, or maybe even like a live chat with you guys on how to do proper forecasting. There's some really cool tools, like with Helium 10, you can actually download now your competitors' numbers, and then we can show you guys how to, skew that up to your sales potential. So that'll be a complete separate topic one day. For now, just go in and put in the numbers that you think you can sell for all of these products. Okay, so I'm not going to fill it in now. I have a sheet that's already filled out just to save time. But I want to show you guys what the sheet does. So here you put in the date or the year on top. You put in your products, the COGS, and the sales number. How many units are you going to sell of that SKU per month? Down here, I want you guys to fill in the product lead time to reach Amazon. So this is from when you place your order to when it reaches Amazon. So for us lately, because of the delays, it's close to 100 days. So we go ahead, we put in 100 days. All right, and then down here, it'll tell us the order date if we want the units to be available for January 1st. Okay, so we know we got to order by at least the 23rd of September. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch in. This is kind of like a cooking show, right, where everything is magically prepared. These are now fully filled in. So here are our products. You guys can enter up to 10 different SKUs. So here are the 5 products that I've already filled in, some of the COGS associated to it, the sales forecast, what I'm expecting to sell. And then the nice thing is here I can see, okay, how many units do I have to purchase to cover these 5 months of inventory, right? So if I want to cover my January to May sales right here, what I put in, then I'm going to have to order this many SKUs, or this many of each SKU. So 1,000 of product 1, 1,650 of product 2. So it'll calculate a total of 9,900 units I'm going to have to order, and the COGS are going to be 50,565. So this is what the supplier will get. Now, the reason why we split it up like this, you're going to see this sheet is actually used for us as a negotiation tactic on how we can negotiate better payment terms with our supplier. That's the real magic of the sheet, and we're going to show you that later on the second tab. So it'll give you an overview if we say, okay, we're going to place 3 orders next year. And I want to cover all the months, so January to May, then June to September, October to December. Then this is the size of my purchase order. Now you can see the Q4 order here. It's pretty big, right? 31,000 units, $164,000. So what this allows me to do on a quick overview is to say, okay, what if I just order the October units already a bit earlier? Change that to October. Now, a warning will come up because we're actually overlapping some months. So it's saying make sure you don't overlap the months. So I'll just go in here and change, okay, so this is from June to October. So this one, I'll only need the goods from November to December sales. So now it splits up the units a bit more evenly, right? I'm paying here 50,000, 76,000, 127,000. So I was able to change, the splits of my order a bit better. Okay, and that's essentially it for tab 1. It'll give us a nice overview that we're going to order, 50 or close to 50,000 units. And our supplier can expect us to, order $254,000 worth of goods. So that's a Pretty nice sum for the year. All right, and now we go into tab 2. This is where all the magic happens to see, can we actually achieve these numbers? What's going on with our cash flow? Can we pay the supplier on time and stuff like that? All right, let's go to cash flow tab at the bottom. All right. Up here, you get a drop-down menu. So it says include data from the last 4 months, 2021, right? If right now you're planning and you're saying, look, I'm already selling, so I actually want to include my real numbers, then you can go ahead and you can do that. So you can say, yes, include the last 4 months. That'll give you a reminder here that it includes calculations from 2021. And you can go ahead and just hit that plus sign. That'll open it. And now we have information from the last 4 months. I'm going to go ahead and actually open this sheet up a bit. Remember, all the plus signs just allow you to get an overview, a better overview. I cleaned it up right before. When you guys open your sheet, it'll actually be opened already. Okay, now we can work with it. All right, I'm going to close this. For the demonstration, we're going to say we're not going to include data. We're going to start, our product's going to be live only January 1st or close to January 1st, and that's good enough for our planning. So we're not going to include the data from the last 4 months, just to keep it a bit simpler. But play with the sheet, guys. Play with it. Then you'll get a better feel for what's going on. Over here, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put in some numbers that are associated to the product. So we're going to put the sales price that we're expecting to sell it at, the Amazon referral fee, depending on the category that you guys are selling in. What are the FBA fees for fulfillment? How much am I expecting to pay for marketing or PPC? So we'll say 10% tacos. And then we can see this is how much we're expecting to get paid out from Amazon right here. I want you to keep this side blank for now. Okay, so you don't have to go ahead and fill in these line and cogs. We're going to fill that in later. I'll show you where to get that information. Just keep it blank for now, but fill in the top overhead. That's essentially just the sales price. We also have that information, you guys might remember, on our line and cog sheet, right? So if we go ahead here, I'm going to show you, look here. This is where we had the line of cogs. We can fill it out, right? This is a different video. Go check it out, where you have all your order information, what you're paying to the different suppliers or your supply chain. And then it gives you a nice overview of the line of cogs. So you can go ahead and use that information as well when you're filling this out. And if you'd like, you can actually take that information now. The landed cogs right here, landed cogs, I'll go back to our landed cog sheet, is right here, landed cogs per unit. So you can see 576 for that SKU, okay? I'm going to put in here 576. And each of my SKUs would have a different landed cog sheet already prepared in advance, right? So you guys know your numbers, put them in here. I want to go show back what happens if we have more than 5 products. So right now I have 5 products. If we go in here and we say, okay, we're actually going to have a 6th product right here. Product 6, the SKU. On the cash flow, what's going to happen is it's going to give you a reminder, oh, there are actually more products. Go ahead and then hit the plus. That'll extend it here, and then you can actually see that there's more data for you guys to fill in. Okay, we're going to collapse it for the demonstration just to keep it a bit cleaner. We're just going to use the 5 products. I think that's plenty to start. Okay, so we have the 5 products. We filled in all of the cost information associated on top. We did go ahead and put in the line of cogs already. I told you guys to wait, but don't wait. Just fill it in. You have that from our other sheet, that information. Okay, and then I want to walk you guys through what are these other tabs going on. Before we do that, though, just go all the way to the bottom. There's one more thing I want you guys to fill in. The manufacturing time until ship ready. So at the beginning, what we put in here, the 100 days, that is, if I place my order, when do I expect it to arrive at Amazon, right? And we've seen around 100 days lately. So, good times were like close to 90 days. Now they're up to 100 days. So put in the number that you guys have experienced yourself. And then this is basically, you place your order, when is it ship ready? So this could be 30 days, this is 40 days. This is essentially your production time with the inspection and stuff as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it's 40 days. And then what you guys can fill in as well here is the landing cost per unit. So the landing cost, right? So this is essentially your inspection and your shipping together and all the other costs to get the product once it's made. So the COGS we've already entered, those are here. This is what our supplier gets. But what are all the other costs that I need for it to end up at Amazon, right? The landing cost. So that would be $1.51. Now that information is also on this landing cog sheet. So you can see here, landing cost per unit, $1.51. So my COGS I've already put in, right? At the beginning. So that would be, let's say, the 425. Landed would be 576, and the difference is 151. So just go ahead and put in your average landing costs. What we're going to use that number for is to calculate our shipping costs, right? How much do we have to pay to actually ship this product, inspect it, stuff like that. And the cash flow calculator will use that number. So you come down, you fill in those two. Whew. All right, so that's it for now. Now we're going to go in and we're going to walk through all these tabs. Now, these tabs are just an overview of your sales, your inventory, and how much you're going to get paid out. And all the math is done in the background. All right, so the sales forecast total. These numbers right here are just taken from what you entered on this sheet in the front, right? So this is where you put in your sales forecast. And this is literally just showing you on this overview tab as well, this is how much you're expecting to sell. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to go ahead and say how much inventory was there available, at the end of December, let's say. This is your starting inventory. Now, if you didn't have anything in and all your inventory is arriving, let's say January 1st, then just go ahead and you can put this down to 0. And then it'll show you that at the beginning of January, because you had nothing left over in December, you're going to have 1,000 units available. Now, where are those 1,000 units coming from? Well, if you go back to the tab 1, you can see that you actually ordered 1,000 units of the first product, and we wanted it to be available for January 1st, so we placed the order on the 23rd of September. Okay, so that 1,000 units of product 1 is now going to be available in the sheet. Inventory available start of January is 1,000 units. If you already had some of that product left over because it's an existing SKU and you've been selling it, and you have 500 left over December, then you know that you have 1,500 now available of the month. We're expecting to sell 100 in January. That was our sales forecast. So now we'll start the month with 1,400 units in February. So it's pretty simple, as you can see. We always just subtract that month and put it in here. Okay, so put in your real numbers. Okay, if you have units left at the end of December, put those in, or at least what you're going to expect to have at the end of December, and then you can see how many units you should have at the beginning of January. We use this to calculate our inventory fees for Amazon. Amazon payout. Now this is a super tricky thing because Amazon, they actually hold on to your funds for close to 2 weeks, sometimes a bit longer, right? And what the sheet does is exactly that. It'll say, okay, half the sales that you're going to make in the month, they're actually going to hold on to. They're going to freeze 2 weeks of those sales, and they're only going to pay to you the next month. So each month you only get half of those sales in that month paid out, and you'll get the other half at the beginning of next month. So what you're going to do here is if we did have inventory at the end, or if we were selling in December, then you can go ahead and you can say how many units you sold of this product at the end of December, right? So you just go ahead and put in your numbers. Let's say you sold, 500 units. You can go ahead and put that in. That'll change how much you get paid out in January. So remember, in January, you're going to get paid for half of the sales that you had in January. So you're going to get paid for 50. And you're going to get paid for half of the ones that you sold in December. And that's only because of the fact that Amazon freezes some of the funds, right? It's an average, but it's about 2 weeks. All right, so go ahead, fill in your numbers. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go down. And we're going to see, okay, what are the average inventory fees? Okay, now the inventory fees, you're going to be able to get those on our other sheet called the FBA fees. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you for this one, for example. So product 1, you're at 52 cents. Let's see. So this sheet, the FBA fees. Now, super important to have our lifetime package, right? Because some of these numbers, they change on Amazon. You can find them directly from Amazon. We just make it super simple with the sheet. And we update them as Amazon updates them. If you have our lifetime package, then we always email you automatically. You're on our lifetime package email list, and you get them automatically updated and sent to you. So if we go ahead and fill in our product dimensions here, and the type of product it is, it'll actually show us in this table right down here, our monthly inventory storage fees, okay? The number that I want you guys to enter is just the one for January to September, okay? And here it's 52 cents per unit. If you want to be more precise, it's actually 52.08, okay? So what we can do is we can actually, if you want to do it more accurately, we can type in 52.08. So I'm going to go back, and in here, I'm going to type in 0.5208. Okay, and when I hit enter, we're only going to see 52 cents, but we know in the background it's calculating with 52.08. Now, if you have an oversized item, okay, so I'm going to show that right here. Let's say product 3 is oversized. I need you to select that down here because that actually changes your Q4 storage rates, right? So you go ahead and change it to oversized, and you would know if it's oversized because our sheet right? Now here it says it's standard size. If I change this dimension, now it'll say oversize. So it's a small oversize, but it's still considered an oversize. And then here are my inventory fees. Okay, so 60 cents per unit. So I go ahead, I'm going to enter that 60 cents and it's oversize. If I have a dangerous good oversize, I'm going to have to select that as well. How do I know it's dangerous good? That's obviously depending on the product that you're selling. You can enter that in our sheet as well on the other one, and it'll tell you the inventory fees. Okay, so remember guys, there's a lot of work, but you only have to set it up once, really, right? There's a quick overview of what's my cash flow for the year. Just take the time, like I said, make a coffee, grab a tea, whatever it is, and just fill this in carefully, and all the math will be done for you. All right, so now what we can see is we have to pay for the units that are stored, right? So here's the inventory available at the start of the month. We have 1,500 units. We're gonna have to pay inventory fees for those units. Now, some of them we're obviously selling, so what we actually do is we do a linear declination of how many units you are actually paying inventory for, because some of them you're actually selling in that month, so you don't have to pay inventory for all of them. Some are going to go out, but the sheet takes care of that for you. Okay, so then we know what our inventory fees that we have for the month. So here we can see in January we're going to pay a total of $6,000 inventory fees, February $5,000. The number is going down because we sent all our units in at the beginning of January, and we are selling them, so obviously the fees of storage are going down until we replenish. And then you can see there's more units coming in, let's say here in June, and then obviously it goes up again. And then it'll go down as we sell our units. Alrighty, fixed costs. So this is business specific, right? You can put in your fixed costs. If you have more than these, 6 fixed costs, just add them up, sum them up. Like I said, this is just a quick overview. This is not to do your accounting or anything. Just to give you an idea of what is my cash flow going to look like. So you put in your fees, for example, accountant is $600 a month. I enter that. Software that you're using, maybe $100 a month. That'll give you a nice total of your fixed costs for the business. Any ad hoc costs, right? So let's say, you got in trouble, you need a legal counsel. So you have $4,000 here. Let's say you want to go to a trip to China for a fair, right? Canton Fair or something. Let's go ahead and put in, let's say, $10,000 for flight and hotel and stuff like that. So you can put in those ad hoc costs as well that you're planning. All right. Now, this tab here, the product cost, the total. So the cost of goods, this is essentially what I have to pay my supplier. Okay. And here the landing costs are essentially, when is it due, the fee? So like, for example, well, you got to pay for shipping, right? So you got to pay for shipping. When the products are done, you got to pay for shipping to get it to the States. All right, let's go down to the bottom. This is essentially why we built this sheet. So the reason why Ryan and I really focused on this was we wanted to start negotiating better terms with our supplier, because we saw that our biggest order is usually Q4, right? And the problem is we needed the cash flow to place that order well in advance, right? So if I want my goods in for November, which is already cutting it really close, I got to order it by like July, right? Look, if I change that to October, then you see I actually have to order it by June, right? 23rd of June. So I'll go ahead and put this back to November because we decided to split it up that way. Okay, so if it's in November, I got to have the cash flow, right, to order $127,000 by July. If we look on these columns, green is obviously good, you're cash flow positive. Red, there's something going on. The top line here is what is my monthly cash flow, okay? And the bottom is a cumulative, which is essentially what you're expecting to have on your bank account. Now, you can go ahead and you can put a starting amount that you have on your bank account. So you can say, okay, the starting amount at the end of December, I'm going to have $20,000 on the account to start the year in January. So I'm going to have $20,000 in January. What this sheet does is it subtracts all of your costs, right? And then you're going to actually the sales. Sorry. So you're actually making an additional $11,000 in the month of January. So in January you're profitable, making $11,000 profit. So cumulative, you're going to have $31,000 on the bank account, right, at the end of January. And then the sheet continues for each month. So it shows you, okay, in February you're making $5,000, March $30,000. In April you're actually losing $53,000. Why? Because you're ordering the goods, right, and you're shipping the next purchase order. So you're going to lose money in April, but cumulative, you still have enough on your bank account. So as long as the bottom line is green, it's a quick overview to say, okay, everything is fine. Now take a look at what happens. Here in September, we would actually go in the negative. We can't go in the negative. So cumulatively, we cannot be red, right? We always have to stay cash flow positive. So we have to do something. Now these dates here, the payments due for my cost of goods when they're due, you know, February, April, that comes based on what you enter down here. So this is the magic. So when we first started, and I think probably most people, they pay 30% up front and 70% when it's ship ready. Okay, so that is entered here. So I type in 30%, 70%. So you can see if I wanted to arrive by January 1st, we said we have to actually order it on, you know, 23rd of September. The purchase order was a total of $50,000, 30%, you know, at the beginning of production. Well, I got to pay that as soon as I sign the purchase order. So on the same day, 23rd of September, that'll be $15,000. If 70% is due when it's ship ready, well, I'm going to have to pay it, you know, on November 2nd. Same with my second order, right? So we said over here, the second order, we need it to arrive by June. That's when it has to be available for. So we have to order it on the 21st of February if it takes us 100 days. So we want it available for June. So we got to pay the 30% down payment on the 21st of February. And that's what you can actually see here, right? So the 30% is here in the cost of goods. It's due in February. And then on April 22nd, well, we got to pay the $53,000. That's our 70% down here. We also got to ship it, right? And that's where these landing costs per unit come in. We got to ship those goods for $22,000, right? So that's why we can see that in April, we're actually losing $53,000, you know, in the month. So how do we avoid this issue now? Why do we have the sheet? So we go to our supplier with this and say, look, we'd love to order this big order for Q4. We really want to, you know, we want to give you guys $127,000 so we can order 24,000 units. But the problem is we're going to be tight on the cash flow. So what we do is we say, can we play with these numbers to maintain cash flow positive throughout the year? So instead of paying 30% up front and 70% when it's ship ready, what we do is we go ahead and we change it. So we say, okay, what if we pay 30% up front when it's ship ready, it passed inspection, we're going to pay you another 30%, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to, sorry, it's a bit glitchy here, the internet. If we do after that, so there's 40% missing, right? The sheet actually tells you. So there's 40% missing. So we're going to pay 20% 60 days after it's ship ready, right? And then the last 20%, what we're going to do is we're going to do it 90 days after it's ship ready. Okay, so now take a look at what happens to the green line here. Cash flow positive throughout the year. And we paid the same amount of money to the supplier. We were just able to shift the payment terms so that we stayed cash flow positive. And we actually show them this, right? We walk them through it and we say, we can order more from you guys. If you will help us out, you're going to get the same money. We just have to, you know, disperse the payments because then this way we can start selling them. And then we give them a payment schedule, we sign the contract, and that's basically it. So guys, use this sheet, not just to make sure that you're cash flow positive, but also as a negotiation tool with your supplier. It's very, very powerful if they can actually see your numbers. And if they see it goes red, and you can tell them, like in the other one, we would have been $25,000 in the minus. So that means you would have had to order, you know, $25,000 worth of goods less. It's a very complex sheet. Play with it. Really get a feel for it. Remember, you can include real numbers, you know, from the last 3 months if you'd like, or you can just, you know, start in the end of December, put in, you know, the final numbers that you have. If you have any questions, reach out to us, guys. Join our Facebook group, reach out, and we'll answer any questions. And that's it. Give us some feedback. This sheet is big. This is our beast. I love it. I hope you guys like it too. And that's it. See you soon.